feeling like I'm in that end zone. I got my homies in a no new friend zone. You know, making plays that land us in the end zone. Coming in clutch, you can catch me in the end zone. End zone.
What is happening, people, and welcome back to In the End Zone UK, your place for all things NFL, news, and more. Well, we are back home in the UK after an incredible week of US action. And joining me once again, as always, fresh off the jet lag, is the Pac-Man himself, Lil Camo. How are you doing today?
I am good, still fighting the jet lag. However, what I have learned is if you can stay awake, football does actually go on past 9 o'clock here. So that is one benefit of the jet lag, is I was able to stay up and catch a bit more ball.
Nice. You are renowned for your late game napping, but I guess whilst your body is on the East Coast time, you've been able to soak it all in. And I guess good because the Packers were playing in the late window, so the jet lag's actually done you a service.
It has. It doesn't feel like it right now, but yeah, it did. It was good.
Yeah. No, I'm feeling groggy too, but was able to watch as much ball as possible last night. So there are silver linings to every jet lag scenario. And I guess we had even longer or an even greater amount of football this week because we had another UK game. This week was the Broncos versus the Jets. And I need to say, for UK fans out there or aspiring NFL fans, if this was your first game watching American football, please just know that the NFL is not like that. Football is so much better than that game at Tottenham. But nevertheless, it seemed like there was great vibes. Giggs was on the mic, repping the UK rappers. But that's about the only entertaining thing that happened in that game. We'll get to talking about it a little bit later. But please be aware. Jets Broncos, it gets much better than that. So, Camo, this week, the episode is called Week 6, A Game of Inches. And that's because I feel like that's exactly where we're at right now. I feel like the margins for teams seem to be so razor thin. Almost no teams are running away with it every week. I feel like the line between good and bad, winning and losing, is literally inches. I feel like games are so hard to call at the moment. There's so many upsets each week, but they're not really upsets because it feels like so many teams are evenly matched now. I think we've said it on the podcast a little bit, but do you feel like that as well? I feel like that is, for the most part, there's so many teams that are so evenly matched.
Yeah, I don't know if it's evenly matched. You see patterns, don't you, in NFL and a lot of sports where one team does something that works. A lot of teams will then try and replicate in their own fashion. And for me, what that's actually led to this season is a lot of bad football. There's a lot of negative plays, and not even in a good sense. It's just negative play calling and some poor play. The teams that you expect to be good with the good players aren't showing up every week.
Yeah.
And there's something about this season so far that's, I mean, in one hand, it's great because it makes it open. But actually, you want to see the good players be good.
Yeah, I feel you.
It's not been that.
No.
Like,
I think on previous podcasts we've said that there's a lot of sideways movement with the ball, a lot of swing passes, a lot of screen plays, and whilst that's obviously a tool of the game, I don't know, I just don't feel like the ball is being excitingly pushed downfield by not by everyone. I mean, Dak Prescott seems to be slinging that rock, but aside from that, there's a lot of sideways stuff. But I wasn't really just sort of calling on the play calling anyway. That's my take on it. I was just really saying that as much as there is a lot of teams out there doing really well, there's a level playing field.
There's some people grinding out results.
Yeah.
That we'd definitely not seen coming. Yeah, some of the teams that we thought were going to be absolute bottom feeders are just there's a lot of teams around 500 right now.
Yeah, exactly.
One game either side of it, and it's
a game of inches. Yeah. And that's why the podcast is calling such. So, game of inches in the NFL, and I guess that kind of leads into our first segment, and one that I think is pretty special. I'm going to kick off with our game of the week. Not only was this a great game, but it also has some relevance in the fact that me and you were there in person at MetLife Stadium in New York for the Philadelphia Eagles to take on the New York Football Giants. And what a game it was. It was a great game, great atmosphere. The home team pulled off a massive upset victory, shocking, I think, to just about everybody. And they beat the reigning Super Bowl champions. The atmosphere was great. Thursday night prime time, Amazon Prime football under the lights. The crowd were a little bit naughty. You could definitely feel the rivalry. What do you reckon? I guess if we break it down, the Giants managed to pull this one out the bag with a victory on Thursday night. They won this one 34-17, and we were in the stands watching it. So before we get into the nitty gritty, what did you reckon about, we've been to MetLife a few times now, but what did you reckon about this new New York Football Giants?
There's something about this version of the Giants that is fun to watch. I almost feel like they don't take themselves seriously, but they've got something there that people relate to. It very much feels like your everyman from down the street turning up to play football on the Sunday and playing it sort of like people did when they were kids. Just, this is what we do. We're going to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And it feels like they appreciate what they're doing as well right now. So
I think
rather than superstars that I am this person, I expect this to happen to me, I turn up, I win. These guys don't do that. They're just in your face, and it's like they're playing it with their mates.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel like in their own right, the Giants players, specifically the new quarterback, new running back, and maybe a couple of the receivers, they almost feel fortunate to be there, which is actually a really refreshing take, I guess, on New York Giant football, because I'd imagine for the last 5-6 years, nobody feels fortunate to be playing for the Giants. Nobody really wanted to be there. But Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo, the walking wrecking ball, I think they're a good duo. They're an exciting, they're both rookies. They are an exciting pairing. And you could really feel that from the stands. I mean, MetLife Stadium, it looked impressive, didn't it, on Thursday night? We had the perfect weather for it. Perfect weather, the blue lights shining from the stadium. We were all given flashy wristbands that lit up different colours depending on the music and the time of the game. And we had a wander around. There was good music playing. There was corgi racing in the middle of the halftime show, which was riveting. Not. And it was cool. I don't know. The Giants, I've been to see a couple of Giants games, and we have as well together, and it never felt like that. It always felt like Giants fans were just turning up and like, oh, here we go. Here we are to watch the Giants lose again. Whereas this was like, I don't know why, because they've only won one game, I guess. One game under Jackson Dart. Sorry, I meant they've won one game under Jackson Dart, and it just felt like a whole new era for the Giants, and it felt like we were there sort of watching it, because we're not Giants fans. I wanted the Giants to win. I wanted to see the home team win. Don't like Philly at all. So I don't know. Yeah, it just felt nice. And then what happened was what you wanted to happen. Jackson Dart making moves, running around, finding players, making, whether they're wishful throws or whether they were perfectly pinpoint accurate, that's to be debated. But he made the throws ultimately. Don't know if he can do this every week, but he made people miss, and he found his receivers, and he threw for a touchdown, and he ran for a touchdown. And amazing. Well done, Jackson Dart. Well done for being creative and exciting. And Cam Scatterbo might be the most exciting running back in the NFL right now. Not necessarily the best, but the most exciting.
He's going to have a hell of a short career, though, playing the way he plays. But
yeah,
I think I said it quite early on. That game was there for them to win, because they managed to stop Philly doing, well, practically everything. And they just kept on putting points up. Every time it's like, okay, they go up, they score points, they put more points up. Philly then went up. I was like, okay, is this the start of the tide turning? No, the Giants just went and put more points up and more points up, and it's like, okay, it felt right that they won that game.
It did, and that doesn't feel right saying it, and it didn't really feel right watching it. But whilst we were watching it, it was just, there was some real standouts. Obviously, Cam Scatterbo was a big standout. You could see him just looking for contact every time he received the ball. But Wandale Robinson, Theo Johnson, the tight end, all coming good for Jackson Dart. But I really think that it was the ad-libbing, the sort of making it up on the spot that Jackson Dart has, and it's almost like the nifty shiftiness that he's got. Like, you just don't quite know, because there's not enough tape on him at the moment in the NFL to know what he's going to do. It's almost like he takes his first read, looks, if it's not there, he runs, which is, the most basic of basic quarterback functionality that there is in the league. But not everybody's doing that, nor not everybody can do that, because they haven't got the athleticism, or they're not crazy enough to get sandwiched between Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter, although he wasn't playing in this game. So, yeah, I think Jackson Dart's putting himself in harm's way to win a couple of games, to bring that franchise sort of up and out of the dirt. And I respect that. I respect that a lot. And I tell you what, I know we were watching this together, Cam, and you're probably sick of me hearing it, but I tell you where I felt like the tide turned, and I'm so glad it turned, is that when the Eagles scored to go up and start winning in this game after 4 consecutive tush pushes in a row, was one of the worst things I've ever witnessed in football. Did that not just suck the life out of that stadium? But not for the good. It wasn't like, oh, Eagles fans are going wild. This is a great scoring opportunity. It literally, everybody just sat there, even Eagles fans. I mean, they were cheering, obviously, but everybody was just sat there like head in hands, just going, what are you doing? We've just been watching Cam Scatterbo, Jackson Dart, running major touchdowns, find people down the seams. No. Instead, they put the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands and try to shove him 4 times to gain about 1.5 yards, I think it was, for a first down and then for a touchdown, all in the span of 2 yards in front of the line. It is one of the worst plays in football. And the worst thing about it is now every time they're running it nearly, they're jumping offside. They're already getting the snap. They're moving before the snap. The refs aren't calling it. And it sucked the life out of the stadium. And I am so happy. I mean, we don't slap or sign in the game of the week. But if we did, I've already done it this week, but I'd be slapping the Eagles, man. I'd be slapping the tush push, because they're now doing it illegally. It's the most boring play in football. They did it 4 times in a row, which is just just be creative. When you can hand the ball off to Cam Scatterbo and he can run through people, you're going, yeah, good one, boy, even if he gives himself CTE. They've got Barkley. They could do the same, or he could outrun the players on the perimeter. Get a grip, Eagles. I'm so glad that they lost, because it was almost like one creative, explosive, trying to find a way to win team against a team that almost feels like they deserve it. It's like, yeah, we're just going to tush push so we win again. It's just poor.
Yeah,
poor.
It's when they showed the replays on the big screens at MetLife and you see the penalties.
Yeah.
The crowd went crazy.
Yeah.
Right. But like you say, a bit of karma, they lost. I mean, I think that Eagles organization has got some real issues in trade AJ Brown. Just trade him. Right. You need to switch something up, because Saquon's not having the season that he had last year.
Nope.
Goddard is doing fantastic at tight end.
He's a great
absolutely
tight end,
doing fantastic. Your other receivers are they may as well just be running up and down, staying warm.
Yeah.
It's really weird when you've got such good players there and expensive ones. If they don't fit into the model of what you're trying to, if you want to be just a run team, fine. You don't need 2 elite wide receivers and an extremely good tight end. Yeah. Just trade them.
Absolutely. It was difficult to watch when you think they've got so many options, and yet here they are handing it off 4 times to their quarterback. And if you sell out to stop the run, which the Giants were obviously doing. Brian Burns, by the way, Spider-Man, what a player he is. He was just everywhere. Like, he was tackling in the backfield. He was sacking Hurts. He is so rangy, man. His limbs are just lengthy. He's just so cool. I love Brian Burns. Like, he has grown on me this year massively. What a player. But yeah, I think to your point, Eagles have got a problem. Whether they do anything about it this year, I don't think they will. I think they'll still try to keep this blueprint going to win another Super Bowl with the players they've got, but it's just wasting people's careers. So yeah, 34-17, the New York Football Giants win. They now go to 2-4. The Eagles go to 4-2. Obviously, still fairly coasting in the NFC East, but it's just boring. It's just boring to watch. 58 yards for Saquon, 1 touchdown, 1 interception for Jalen Hurts, and a tush push. We're over it. We're over at Eagles, and we're actually now all in on Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. 1-2 punch of the New York Giants. I'm here for it. Why not? Why not get excited by some new players? Not saying they're good. They're just a bit mental. And they're relatable, Cam, to your point.
That's it. They really
relatable.
do feel like they're every man you see down the pub.
For sure. Which is what we want. We want to see more of that. Okay. And that was our game of the week. I guess one thing to just mention before we move on, Cam, game of the week, getting to MetLife is a nightmare. Once you're in the stadium, amazing, enjoy it. So for future reference, for anybody who's listening who wants to go watch the New York Giants or Jets, there's not going to be many people out there that do, but if they are, stay in a hotel that is within walking distance of MetLife, because getting there and getting out is an experience. That's all I'll say. Very difficult, was it not, Cam?
Difficult, expensive. I'm pretty sure we said we'd never do it again. We then found ourselves back there doing it again. So who's the mugs?
Yeah, true. So yeah, but overall, good game. Really pleased that we managed to get there. Great experience for In the End Zone UK. Take a look at our socials at In the End Zone UK on Instagram and have a look at the reel that we posted, me and Camo rocking around the stadium, pretending to be Giants/Eagles fans. It was good fun. Moving on, we move to our fan favourite segment. It is time for Slap or Sign. So for anyone new to the pod, here's a rundown. Each of us picks 2 players, 2 from the AFC, 2 from the NFC. They either get a slap for being downright awful, or they get a sign for being a top tier player this week that makes you wish that they were on your team. So Camo, let's start with the AFC. And I want to know who you are signing from the AFC today.
I'm going to sign Jonathan Taylor.
Such a beast.
Indianapolis Colts running back, who is just a fantasy phenom, and he just embodies everything good that the Colts are doing right now.
He does.
He gives them that stability that you can build your game through him. And what a amazing thing for Daniel Jones to have there, who in his own right has been fantastic this season.
Agreed.
Didn't see that one coming, but yeah, Jonathan Taylor. Again, another 100+ yards, touchdown in what turned out to be a bit of a closer game than I expected.
Yeah, the Cardinals made a game of this one.
When considering there was obviously they're out with James Conner. Kyler Murray was not playing in this one, so they had Jacoby Brissett in. Marvin Harrison Jr. went out injured, which is obviously a big one for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But they hung around.
They did.
They really did hang around. But the Colts this season have something. And that is why this game is crazy, because year in, year out, how much teams change. I don't know if it's momentum, just a feel-good factor. You can just see it. They now feel like they're a team that go in and go, we're going to win this game.
Yeah, they've got all the confidence.
I'd have been shocked if they didn't win that game. And that's weird to say when I didn't think they'd win 3 games this season type thing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, so it was, I think I'm signing him for his consistency over this season so far, as well as having another 100-yard game and a touchdown.
Yeah, it's a good enough game. 5.9 to 6 yards a carry, 123 yards, touchdown. And like you say, he's that building block. He doesn't go backwards. He only goes forwards. And that just makes things so much easier for your quarterback, especially if you're scheming to make sure that Jonathan Taylor gets, 25 touches a week, which is what he's getting, if not more. And Danny Dimes is utilising him perfectly. I mean, Danny Dimes has played with some running backs, hasn't he? Taylor and Barkley. Ouchies. What a combination to have played with. But you're right.
Amazing.
You're right,
Taylor Warren as well.
He's
just so good. He looks like he plays the game and he's having fun with it. And I mean, Josh Downs showed up with his first touchdown this season. They're on something.
They are. And on the flip side, the Cardinals didn't play bad. I actually think Jacoby Brissett played a better quarterback game in this game than Kyler Murray's played all year. He threw for
He's got a different skill
320
set, hasn't
yards.
he? Yeah.
Yeah, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yeah, okay, he threw a pick. He only took 2 sacks, so he was fairly careful with the ball. But he got people involved. Trey McBride, Greg Dortch both had touchdowns through the air. Not that I like the Cardinals, I freaking hate them, but I liked the look of this Cardinals team against this Colts team. And I actually think whether they play him or not continuously, they can't do really. But Brissett is a better quarterback. Kyler Murray's washed. Kyler Murray spends too much time running around on the spot to get anything done. But the Colts won this one 31 to the Cardinals 27, and Cardinals fall to 2-4 in what is a absolutely stacked NFC West. And the Colts go to 5-1, which is never would I have thought it at the start of the season. So nice one, Cam. Cool. So Jonathan Taylor is your AFC sign. My AFC sign, I'm going to have to go with Drake May. I'm going for Drake May for the New England Patriots because, and this is probably like a double week sign, he's had 2 outstanding weeks back to back. And this week kind of just proved that the week before when they beat the Bills in prime time was not just an anomaly. And maybe he's now beginning to see the field and develop as a quarterback. The Patriots beat the Saints. That's not a hard thing to do. Saints are 1-5. The Patriots are now 4-2. The Saints are a bottom dumpster fire team. They're not good, but they're better. They're better than I thought they would be. Weirdly, still only with 1 win. They've got some flashes of good stuff, but the Patriots, man, Drake May, 260 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, took 1 sack, passer rating of 140, and he ran for 30 yards as well. This guy, he looks a little bit, and last week I thought the same. He looks a little bit like a mini Josh Allen. Like he can evade the pass rush. He takes off when he sees space up the middle. He rolls to the right whilst trying to find people downfield. It's like he's got a little bit of Josh Allen in him. The only thing that maybe, dare I say, well, I do say he's missing is he's not got quite the stature that Josh Allen's got. But he's definitely nimble and agile and just seems to have a vision. You know, he can put the ball in places that not many quarterbacks can. Like some of these passes were outrageous. Kayshon Boutte with 93 yards and 2 touchdowns. Both of his touchdowns were amazing. And yeah, I mean, well done for Drake May. He's changed things in the Patriots organization for the better. And I don't know whether this is going to last, but for this week, he's getting my sign because he's looking pretty damn good.
Yeah, there's something. I think this Patriots team have something. I think me and Dave both picked them at the start of the season to be our most improved team. And they're showing up. Yes, they've lost a couple of games, but actually their defense at times can show up, shut people down, get to the quarterback, take the ball away. But like I say, what they're doing on offense with, I'm going to say, relative no-name people. I think their gamble of Diggs was a good one. To have
Definitely.
that experience in the building is a really good piece for them. But yeah, I like Drake May. I like the way he's playing football right now. And in a time where we've said anyone can beat anyone, I wouldn't say it's unrealistic to say they could make the playoffs. And
Absolutely.
that is absolutely crazy to think.
Absolutely. And when you just said, you know, it depends about teams getting on a roll or having that momentum, they're 4-2. They've just beat the Bills. You know, like that is how much more momentum do you need as a team? You don't need a lot more.
The beating the Bills thing's huge as well because it comes down to that divisional.
Yeah, and they beat them away
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a big one. Like you wouldn't necessarily bet against the Patriots right now, and I don't know why, but you just wouldn't. But Drake May's getting it anyway because he was fantastic this week and last week. So well done. And to the Saints, for Saints listeners out there, oh dear, I think you're in fire sale mode, and I think you should be trading Alvin Kamara, maybe trading, I don't know what else you've got, maybe trading somebody like, who's the linebacker, Demario Davis, sending him somewhere, try and get him to win a ring. That you're just not in a position to be competing, and therefore you don't build on these players that are nearly 32, 33. I think Demario Davis must be even older. You don't build on those players. Go get some picks for them. Send Alvin Kamara to the Seahawks if you don't mind. That'd be nice. A little bit of a joke. I spoke to Josh from the 12 Talk podcast, and I said to him, I would love to see the Seahawks go and get a dual threat running back like Alvin Kamara instead of us having to do it by committee with K9 and Charbonnet, which I'll talk about in a little bit later. But I'm kind of half joking because I do like our running backs, but I am saying that Kamara has got a place in the NFL that's not in the Saints, whether it be the Chiefs, Bills don't need him, maybe something like that. There's not many teams that actually do need running backs. There's a lot of good ones out there, but all the more reason to maybe make him a seal. But I think somewhere like the Chiefs would be fantastic for Kamara, and Demario Davis. There's always room for a linebacker on most teams, and he's class. Just sell now whilst you've got the bargaining chips, Saints. But they lost 19-25 to the Patriots. Camo, where are you going with your slap? Who is getting it from you today?
The AFC slap for me. I'm slapping the Cleveland Browns front office offense because they are just absolutely wasting a really good defense. Yeah. I know what you say, defense wins championships. Not if you can't score a touchdown, it don't. And I'm fed up with them. It's the same story every week. Their defense keeps them relevant, keeps them majority in games. But if you can, again, only put up 9 points,
yeah,
I don't care how good your defense is. You're asking too much of it. And I think they are now getting what they deserve for some shockingly bad front office calls in terms of the trades they've done, the re-signing players when actually you're a terrible team. Giving up on Baker Mayfield was the worst
criminal.
thing they've ever. To give up on Baker Mayfield, to follow it up by signing Deshaun Watson, leveraging all of your future on that deal. Look how that's just turned out. Baker Mayfield at the minute is MVP of the league.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson has played maybe 4 games for the Browns
and looked awful whilst doing so,
and has cost them $250 million.
Yeah. No, you're right, Cam.
I just think that whole sequence, your team is never going to be good if they're the calls that you're making. I don't personally think just anyone should be allowed to own an organization, a franchise. They don't care. To be a Browns fan must be painful.
Absolutely.
And in this game, so they lost 23-9 to the Steelers. And I don't care. Let's say they put up 9 points. They scored 3 field goals this game. Aaron Rodgers had some very nice throws at times during this game. He found DK Metcalf for a nice touchdown. He had one of those crazy across body throws you're not meant to do, which was beautiful. But the Browns, I just can't get over how poor they look. And Dylan Gabriel obviously made his debut last week in London. This was his first home game. He threw the ball 52 times. 29 of 52 for 221 yards.
Yeah, that's
awful. Judkins carried the ball 12 times for 36 yards. They've got no way of scoring points.
No.
I don't know how they're meant to put up points with what they're trying to do. Are they trying to get that number 1 pick? I mean, they just traded away Flacco. I don't know if that's whatever, but yeah, they are a shockingly bad team on offense that ruins the defense, careers, fan bases.
Yeah.
What this defense has to try and fight against, it's not fair.
It's not. You can only keep people out for so long as well, because you're basically going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, because they didn't even have any interceptions or anything on this one. It's just you're going 3 and out very quickly, asking your defense to come back on the field, play almost 90% of the game snaps. And yeah, I mean, look, I'm not arguing, Cam. I mean, everybody who's listening to this podcast or has listened to any of our other podcasts know how I feel about the Browns. They are the actual poo stain in the toilet of the NFL, the skid marks in your pants. That's what they are in this NFL. They are named the Browns for a reason, and it is just stuck with them for the last 20 years. And all the things you said, plus the whole, I just feel really, not even bad, I just feel really disappointed, as I've said this before, with Myles Garrett. The fact that he could be anywhere else right now, literally anywhere. Teams would have sawn their legs off to trade Myles Garrett for whatever he would have got. Look what Parsons got from the Packers. I don't think that was an outrageous overhaul for him. I thought it was what it was worth. You know, a team out there could have got exactly Myles Garrett for exactly that. and now he's the highest paid player on their team, and he's going nowhere, never going to win a single other playoff game, nor championship, nor AFC title. He's done. So poor him, poor Browns. They lose 23-9. And on the flip side, like you said, Steelers look good. Metcalf looked good. Aaron Rodgers looked good, but the defense is going to look good against a brand spanking new quarterback, isn't it? They've got a defense that is worldly. So well done. Good. And my AFC slap is going to Aaron Glenn. And I spoke about this at the start of the podcast. I said, fans, please be aware this Broncos-Jets game in the UK is not NFL football. And trust me, it's not. This was a terrible affair of a game, specifically terrible for the New York Jets. But Broncos, don't you go running into the mist thinking that you're everything God's gift gave to football, because you're really not. 13 to the Broncos, 11 to the Jets. Justin Fields, quarterback for the Jets, finished with a net amount of minus 10 yards. I would love to know if that's ever been done, or how frequently it's ever been done that a quarterback's finished with 10 yards, minus 10 yards or less net passing. If you look at his general passing, it was 45 yards, but because things went backwards, he lost more than 45 yards. That is one of the worst stat lines I've ever read. And then when you look at the players that receive the balls, of course they're going to be low. Highest reception leader, Josh Reynolds, 25 yards, followed by Garrett Wilson, who, again, if you threw him onto the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, whoever, would be a top tier 100-yard receiver a week. 3 catches, 13 yards. It's preposterous. And I for all the fans that went to that game, I hope Giggs was good, because this game was trash. Justin Fields needs to be benched, dropped, whatever needs to happen. He needs to be out of there. This experiment is not winning. It's not working. Aaron Glenn is clearly the problem. When you're an OC at a team like the Lions, just stay there. Stay there. Sorry, he's a DC. He was the DC at the Lions. My bad. When you're a defensive coordinator at the Lions, just stay there. You're going to win football games. You're going to have a great time. You're not going to be the butt of everybody's joke. And the worst part of this was the end of the game. Somehow, some way, like unfathomable, that the Jets had an opportunity to still come back and try and win this game at 13-11. They run a 4th down play to essentially keep the chains moving because it's the end of the game. They managed to get it to come off somehow. It barely came off, but it did. And you think, okay, 50 seconds left. You've now got a whole new set of downs. All you need is a field goal. That's all you need. You just need 3 points. You win the game. And they didn't even take a shot. The clock management in this game was one of the worst things I think I've ever seen in football. They didn't have any timeouts. So you know what you need to do. You need to throw to the outside, or you need to, 50 seconds, you've got enough time to throw down the middle, run down, spike the ball. You only need a field goal, or at least attempt, or you just go balls to the wall, 4 verticals, go. Send Garrett, send everybody. The likelihood of it coming off is low, but you might catch them napping. You might
get a defensive pass interference. That's more likely.
Pass interference. You might get a hold. You might get something that allows you to keep the chains moving. And they didn't. The worst thing about it is they didn't even take the shot. What's the saying? You miss every shot that you don't take. Something like that. Yeah. Something along those lines. You miss every shot that you don't take. So take it. And they didn't even do it. Aaron Glenn, you suck. You're not a head coach. You're nothing but. Your defense, somehow, the Jets defense with a defensive-minded head coach is worse than it was without. So that's mental. So sort that out. Sauce Gardner is one of the most overrated players in the league. Justin Fields looks like you've cut the head off a chicken and just let it loose.
If you're playing fantasy with a points per reception, get Breece Hall on your team.
That's true.
Yeah,
they feed him.
Oh dear.
They feed Breece Hall, but to no avail. Avail whatsoever. Breece Hall had 22 carries in this game for 59 yards. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, as you were saying about clock management there, they done the same thing at the end of the first half as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it was 4th down. It's the end of the half. Just throw a Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Do something. No, they just let the clock run.
Yeah. It's really poor. And then on the flip side, the Broncos only put 13 points up on a Jets defense that wasn't playing. I mean, it obviously played well enough to keep them to 13 points, but I think it was more Bo Nix looked terrible. 174 yards, 1 touchdown. So uninspiring. They couldn't run the ball at all. Bo Nix was like, he had 4.8 yards a carry. Aside from that, there was basically nothing. Really poor. Really, like 1 touchdown for a tight end who found the busted coverage. Terrible. The amazing thing from this game to take away, Tanaloa Hafanga was awesome. He had 2 sacks. He had 2 tackles for loss. He had solo tackles all over the place, pass defended, QB hit. Phenomenal. Hafanga is great. Don't know why I dropped him out of fantasy, but I did.
Is there something in it being the London games? Because look, I think it's cool that they bring games over here. It's an experience for people that can't get out to the States to watch it. I've been sat thinking, I've watched a lot of these London games now, and something always just seems a bit off. And I don't know if it's players adjusting, different sort of atmosphere, or what. I just always feel a little bit let down with some of the quality that we get in these games. And
You're not wrong.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. It's obviously not great for the players, surely. Like to travel over this side, to be caught up in all the media hype, to then be playing on like, I mean, at Tottenham they're playing on a good pitch, so there's no excuse there. But to be playing in a slightly different environment where things are just a bit squiff, I get it. I do get it. But at the same time, put on a show.
You are also professional athletes, and so you were saying this at the beginning of the show, like a game of inches. And what I was saying that the football's not been great. What I think I now class as a good team is consistency. That's what makes you a good team. Getting one result, beating like the Jags last week, beating the Chiefs. That result doesn't make you a good team.
Yeah.
Being able to then back that up and win your next 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
You've got to be consistent. And nobody is right now.
There's very little consistency in the league right now, that is for sure. And I think that's maybe what my title of the episode should have been, but I've tried to be a bit more positive about it. But it's a game of inches, and you know that is the difference between winning and losing. And this was a 2-point game. 2 of these points came from a safety. That should not have happened, but it was a holding call in the end zone. Bo Nix lobbed the ball out the sidelines, and they got called, and it was that was it, safety. And again, that's poor execution of offensive line, poor execution from Bo Nix for holding onto the ball too long, stood in the back of his end zone, poor play calling. Same goes for the Jets, poor play calling. Aaron Glenn, you suck. You really suck. He got sacked 9 times, Cam. 9.
Yeah, that's ruthless. You don't.
9.
You're gonna hurt.
9. If you sack a quarterback 4 times in a game, you've had a good day as a team.
What I would say, that Broncos, their pass rush, their new boy that they've got is
it's dirty,
disgusting. Yeah.
They've got an amazing team. Like Nick Benito is absolutely amazing. Yeah, he's class. But then Jonathan Cooper coming off the edge, he had 2 sacks in this game. Zach Allen had a sack. John Franklin Myers had a sack. Like everybody had a sack. When you've got 9 sacks, everybody's had a sack. Like everybody, they must have just been queuing up, going, right, who's having a go? Who's taking the double team? You take the double team, I'll go get a sack. And that was it. And that goes to show you, okay, Justin Fields, if you can't throw the ball down the field, fair play. You're shit. You can't throw the ball, but you've got an amazing pair of legs. Go run the ball. Get some first downs. No, I'll take 9 sacks, thanks, and run 7 times for 31 yards. Awful. Sorry, UK fans who got to see that, but Giggs was playing, so probably had a vibe. Great stuff. That's my slap, Cam. And now we move to the NFC. And I want to hear your NFC. Stay aggressive. NFC slap, please.
Well, this one involved a slap. I'm going to slap Brian Branch.
Okay, Chiefs game.
Yeah. Because the Lions went to Arrowhead and I think got outplayed, and the Chiefs were the more aggressive team. They were the dirtier team, the more aggressive, and the deserved winners of this one. And Mahomes looked really good. He threw for 3 touchdowns, round 1 in himself. Both teams went for it on 4th down and failed to convert at times.
Yeah.
But fine. It's a game against 2 top contenders in the AFC and NFC. They're both going to be there come the end of the season. Look, nobody likes to lose. But at the end of the game, Patrick Mahomes walking past Branch, went to put his hand up to shake his hand, high five him, just acknowledge him type thing. He walked straight past him, ignored him.
He actually brushed it off.
Yeah, Juju
Right.
Smith-Schuster took offence to this and sort of had words. And Brian Branch, again, I've never understood this one. Punched, slapped a man with a helmet on. I know he actually got to him because he made him bleed.
It looked like it hurt.
Oh yeah,
I mean, when you hit somebody who's not expecting it with that helmet and you push like the grill / the strap back into that person's nose and like spin their neck around, that's going to hurt. I understand, why punch somebody with a helmet on, but that is one, disrespectful. Two, it busts his nose. So I mean, it's Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't like him, but
no, nor do I. But
poor form.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you are a sportsman, an athlete. Heck, you're meant to be a role model to little kids.
Yeah, and you just got beat.
And you are one of the leaders of that defense that's a bit banged up right now. Take the loss. Show some respect. Show some class. You might not be happy about it. Bitch and moan in the locker room all you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, a big fracas ensued, and it's just not a good look. Again, the NFL are not going to like that. It's one of their primetime games with two of their biggest stars.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think he's going to get some sort of suspension or whatever.
I'll be surprised if
you've let yourself down. You've let your team down, and
I think that's where it comes from. And you're bang right, Cam. Is that take the loss? You're the Lions. You're not used to losing at the moment. I get it. You previously beat the Chiefs at home. You've lost to them, and the difference is it wasn't like it was like a tight loss. They got dominated, and I've seen the memes about the Chiefs paying the refs off. They've taken a touchdown off the board. Well, in recent weeks, and Dave even will attest to this, in recent weeks the Chiefs have not been getting the friendly flag. They haven't. They have not been getting that. They've had a bunch of calls go against them. There was a couple in this game that could have gone against them as well. Roughing the passer against Mahomes that wasn't called, hit out of bounds on another player. Again, not advocating too strongly for the Chiefs. What I'm going to do, because if it wasn't the Chiefs, you wouldn't be saying it. If it was the Panthers or the Cowboys or whatever, you got to take the rough with the smooth. That motion that Jared Goff did to score the touchdown on a reception was an illegal motion. He wasn't set. He was a receiver that wasn't set. So they called him for not being set. It's like the touchdown yesterday, I think, in the Jags game, where a player had his foot over the line. He was lined up offside. That's it. Yeah. You're offside, though. But, like, it happens every week. Nobody's posting memes about the Jags right now and going, oh, Seahawks friendly flag. No, it's because he was offside. And Jared Goff was not set. Like, I know it sounds harsh, like, or maybe it doesn't, but I'm saying, the Chiefs, that wasn't a touchdown. End of story.
No, yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I think the Chiefs were the better team. That,
way better,
for me, was not even in question. Yeah, I just think it's just things you don't do. Like, be pissed off.
Yeah.
Fair. Get that.
Back to Brian.
Don't be. And I don't mind play the game hard. I don't mind. I like a big hit. I like that.
Yeah.
Don't hit him once like the game's done.
Yeah.
That's like a boxer or something after the bell hitting someone. It's like,
don't do that.
No, control yourself. Like, be better.
Yeah. One thing I will say about this, obviously the Chiefs won 30-17. It did look great. That Mahomes like 257 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was finding people all over the place. Hollywood Brown. I felt like Travis Kelce had a bit of a
he did
a bit of a Kelce day, like no touchdowns, but he just kept moving the chains when it was important to move them. And the defense looked good. I mean, to do that to the Lions, the defense has to be good because there was nothing wrong with the Lions. They were healthy as healthy goes on the offensive line and healthy on offense in general. And the Chiefs had answers, which was great. The one thing that I would say about the Lions, though, is I respect Dan Campbell. I respect him massively for coming out and saying this is not what we do, that Brian Branch knows that this is not what we do and that they'll be dealing with it. I think there'll be fines internally. I don't think they'll suspend him because they put a, what are the word I'm looking for? They hinder themselves. Sorry. They're going to hinder themselves if they don't play Brian Branch. So they'll play him if they can. But I like the fact that Dan Campbell said this is not acceptable for us. And I hope that they hang him out to dry a little bit, fine him, whatever. He might get him to hand wash the jock straps for the week or whatever it might be. it's deserved. And I rate Dan Campbell for apologising to the players, which is fair. Dan Campbell's such a leader, man. He's a leader.
His whole thing is, we will punch you in the face.
Yeah,
like that is the way they play
during the game.
Yeah, but it's a game.
So yeah, Chiefs win, and they're slowly clawing their way back. They're at 500 at the moment, and Detroit fall to 4-2. NFC slap for me is NFC slap for me is Matthew Stafford. I am slapping the Rams quarterback, Matty Stafford, who played against the beat up, broken Ravens from Baltimore. And I just thought this game was trash from start to finish.
Yeah, it was a bad game.
It was a bad game. It finished 17-3. Again, this is the thing where we talk about these powerhouse teams, the Rams stomping all over people. Then for 2 weeks, they'll go silent. They'll lose a game. They'll only put 17 points up on a historically bad defense of the Baltimore Ravens. They've had like 40 points put on them every week. And then you think, okay, yeah, LA are going in there and they're going to trounce them. Nope. Stafford has 180 yards and a touchdown. Got sacked a load. I think he might have lost a fumble. It just didn't look good. It was really, really poorly executed by the Rams, and it goes to show you how much they rely on Puka Nacua, because Puka Nacua got injured in this one, hurt his foot. Don't think it's going to be a long-term one. I don't like injuries. I was going to say kind of hope it is, but I hope it's not. But in my division, it would make the Rams a lot easier to face. But nevertheless, it just shows you how much they rely on him. They've obviously got Devontae, who is an amazing receiver. He does great things for this team. But in this one, he had 4 catches for 39 yards. You know, it's nothing. It's nothing if you remove Puka Nacua, Devontae, you're the number one here. You got to get open. You got to get open against this team of janitors and cleaners that are backing up the Ravens at the moment, and they couldn't. And I don't know whether that's because the Ravens put on a good show, but I don't feel like they did. When I watched the highlights this game, I obviously watched it live, but I then rewatched the highlights. It's just turnover after turnover after sack after turnover after sack, and they're mainly coming from the Rams, which is great because the Ravens have also got injuries all over offense, but just poor. And Stafford has looked great this year, but I'm slapping him because that's what greatness is. You've got to be consistent, to your point, Cam. You've got to make sure that you keep doing it. And if you want to be taken seriously, you can't just fall off and only put 17 points. And it was a late 17 points as well. They didn't score in the first and the fourth quarter. They only scored all their points in the third, basically. Just poor. They just grinded that win out, which, do that in the NFL. Sometimes a win takes a grind, but it was bad. And Matt Stafford deserves a slap because it looks like without Puka Nacua, maybe he's not the Stafford of old.
No, he is just old. But what I would say, if the Ravens were healthy, I think he'd have performed better. I think it might be harder sometimes. They may not intentionally do it, but you come up against this game would have been an absolute prime time game if Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were fully healthy, because they're two very good teams going up against it. When you're playing against the backups brother, you maybe look past them, take your foot off the gas. Your levels and standards just drop a little bit. And
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but that is the thing. You are meant to be the professional that can motivate yourself to keep your levels up here. Ultimately, they got the win.
Yeah.
But I completely hear what you're saying, that it wasn't a fun game to watch in the slightest. No. This Ravens team, it's going to be scary to see what pick they end up with.
Yeah, that's the only benefit you can kind of have now this year, is that the Ravens, unless they get Lamar back real quick and some of their key defensive pieces, they're 1-5 at the moment. They are as bad as the Titans. They are as bad as I don't even know who else, but they're bad. The Saints. Yeah. It's terrible.
And my thing is, this was one of Henry's best games this season. That still wasn't amazing.
No.
I think they've got a big question mark over what they do with him for next season.
Sure. No, I get you. He's obviously had his extension in, and I think he's got 2 more years left, or even 3. But yeah, I mean, it's a big question.
But yeah, it's an interesting one. But
17-3, Ravens. Right, we switch it up and we go for our signs. Finishing strong, in slap or sign, who is getting your NFC sign today?
I did not know where to go with this one. I got two people in mind, both playing in the same game.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to give it to Rico Dowdle.
He's had two great weeks.
He's had absolutely monstrous back-to-back weeks. This one, he had 183 yards on the ground, another 56 yards and a touchdown through the air. That's not easy to do, and he's done that 2 weeks in a row.
True.
And fair play to the Panthers. They end up winning this one 30-27 against the Cowboys. The other place I was looking to go in this one, George Pickens, man.
Yeah,
I like him.
He's damn good.
Yeah, I like him. And what a way for him to show up with CD Lamb getting injured. He had 9 receptions for 168 yards and a touchdown. He is just the safest pair of hands right now. And it was a bit of a back and forth game, which was real fun to watch because Bryce Young, 3 touchdowns and interception. Dak Prescott, 3 touchdowns.
They didn't look bad. These quarterbacks look good.
Yeah, these quarterbacks did look good. But a huge win for the Panthers to win this one. And Rico Dowdle obviously was with the Cowboys last year, wanted to stay, didn't stay, ended up at the Panthers and is producing. And I like it.
Yeah, and he's obviously made the Cowboys regret it, at least this week, and put the hurting on them, which is cool to see in a revenge game. But 183 on the ground is pretty monumental, especially for a player that has only just got his starting job because of injuries. I'd imagine he'll keep it because of the last 2 weeks, because that's a hell of an achievement. But to put
Go on.
What
I would say, the Cowboys, on the flip side, only put up 31 rushing yards to Panthers 216.
Yeah.
That shows,
On the flip side, though, Bryce Young he had less than 200 yards, and no single receiver had more than 50. So it's like,
two ways to play the game.
Yeah, pick your poison. The Carolina Panthers controlled more of the game because of that run game, and so the Cowboys felt like the Cowboys were constantly having to schling it to catch up, and they obviously got the pieces. What I am thinking is George Pickens and CD Lamb, when he's back and healthy, that could be an offensive nightmare for everyone. But the other thing is the Dallas Cowboys defense like a freaking sieve. You can score all over. If you think about, we nearly put this in the game of the week just because of the narrative of it in terms of just the scoreline, but it's because every game the Cowboys are having to sling the rock because they just leak points. They've 30 points they've leaked out to the Carolina Panthers. Sorry, but the Panthers aren't that good. Ted McMillan had 2 touchdowns. He's not had a single touchdown until this game. The Cowboys are a get-right team for your passing offense. That simple as that. Get-right team. If you want to pass the ball, put yards up, play the Cowboys. It is really poor. They're not even really missing a lot in the fact that they're injuries. They just haven't got a great team on defense. It's poor. They can't expect to win anything. Like they might be able to go offense to offense with a team, but they can't go defense to defense with most teams.
Yeah, and fair. The Panthers sitting at 3-3.
Cowboys 2-3-1. There's a draw in there.
I love those draws.
Love those draws coming from the Packers. We'll talk about them in a little bit. And then my final sign for the NFC. I'm going close to home, Camo, because I think flowers are due to this guy. I think that as the narrative has gone on this season, I think this is, and still is, an underrated conversation for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, am I biased? Absolutely. Am I a Seahawks fan till the day I die? But at the same time, the Seahawks go into Jacksonville beat up. And when I say beat up, 3 Pro Bowl players from the defense, all inactive. We've got some heavy machines from our offensive line and run game inactive. I really thought we were going to have a tough game against the Jaguars, and we did. It was not easy, but the Seahawks won this 20-12, and I'm signing Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson Smith for the Seattle Seahawks now leads the league in receiving. He had 162 yards in this game again, another plus 100 game, another tutty. being fed by Sam Darnold. But Smith and Jigba, man, he's just so slick with his routes. And he's not the fastest. He's not the biggest. He's not the strongest. But boy, does he run clean routes. And he just gets open. And he's just that reliable receiver. I don't want to jinx him and maybe just out into the ether I am doing. But I'm signing the boy. Because if you're leading the league in receptions, in receiving yards in the NFL, you're doing something right. You've got to give flowers at this point. If Jamar Chase, if Justin Jefferson was doing what this guy's doing, there would be parades for how good they were. And I just think that the Seahawks are getting totally abandoned by most people this year. The Jags just beat the Chiefs. We just beat the Jags. Not saying that ergo we are better than the Chiefs. I'm just saying it's a team to beat. Jags defense is naughty, by the way. Naughty. Really, really good. They just made some errors that were exploited by Sam Darnold. It wasn't the best game, by the way, called by the Seahawks in terms of play calling. I thought it was atrocious on offense at times. But our defense, man, we had nobody in the secondary, 0. But instead, who shows up? The front 7. 7 sacks in this game. 7. I think it was 20 or 17. No, 17 QB hits in this game. The most Seattle's ever had, or at least in the last 25 years. Pressures galore. More than the Legion of Boom, more than whenever. 25 years. Sacks for everybody. Nwosu, Byron Murphy, Demarcus Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence. Sexy Dexy don't play for the Hawks. But yeah, I mean, Camo, obviously I've just turned it into talking about the Hawks. They won 20-12. The Jags looked reasonable, but they just couldn't get anything going on offense. Defense looked pretty good, but JSN's getting it.
He looks really good. And I think if we were giving out awards right now, Baker Mayfield for MVP, I think Jack Smith and Jigba gets the Offensive Player of the Year as it stands.
Him or Jonathan Taylor.
Like, it's the whole DK moving away to the Steelers opens up your number 1 wide receiver. He has clearly become that. The connection he has with Darnold is just working. And some QB wide receivers just have a way of linking up. This is absolutely working for you.
Yeah, it seems like it. Seems like Sam Darnold has got some connection with Jackson Smith and Jigba. I get that we're 6 games of the season. It's not a huge sample size, so let's just wait and see. But as it stands, it's been good. And yeah, for me as a Seahawks fan, and I know we're only talking on this as slap or sign, but as a Seahawks fan, the things that I just mentioned about the front 7 of the defense playing out of their mind and the back, the DBs getting a little bit blasted at times, busted coverages. When we get healthy, when the Seahawks are healthy, that could be dangerous. Could be. It just could be. I'm hoping so. I've got my hoodie on today, repping the boys, repping a win. We go to 4-2. The Jags also go to 4-2. And
it'll be interesting. Can Sam Darnold produce a full season of it? He obviously done nigh on every game last year.
Yeah.
Towards the back end, it looked a little bit ropey, but so far this year, he has been more than I think what you expected.
Oh, definitely. He's definitely played better than I would have expected him, and that's because he's playing really, really well. So yeah, but again, negatives out this game: poor play calling. We weren't able to sort of just grind out some yards to maybe kick a field goal late to be able to then secure the 2-score lead, which would have taken the pressure off massively, not meant that we had to cover the pitch on Hail Marys and 4th down attempts that kept coming from the lesbian-looking Trevor Lawrence. But that's what happened. And when we get healthy, I think it'll be better. But we need to be able to run the ball better. And that was my comment about Alvin Kamara earlier. We can't run the ball well this year. We just can't. We can't get big chunk yards. It's a running back by committee between K9 and Charbonnet. I like them both. I think they're great. I don't want to get rid of either of them, but something for a deep playoff run, you need to be able to move the ball more.
Yep.
And that's that. Slap or sign is over. We'll just go into our game recaps now to talk about the games that we didn't touch upon in Slap or Sign. There's not too many, but one worth starting with is the Miami Dolphins took on the Chargers, and the Dolphins dolphined it up again and lost in the last minute. Tua, again, a game-ending interception. I know it was a bit of a Hail Mary, so you can't really say that he could have done anything more, but you certainly don't have to throw it to the opposite team. And if he'd have had anything about him, I mean, he'd have at least tried to aim for the end zone and not try and dump it off, which is so strange. Just, I feel like Tua has legitimate CTE moments where he throws the ball directly to the wrong colour team. Derwin James could have housed this, but instead he ran out of bounds. I wish he had, because it would have helped me in fantasy. But nevertheless, Chargers get another win, but it wasn't convincing in my eyes.
They did not look great. And Lad McConkey came up with a big play late on. He's, the last few weeks, has had a bit more involvement.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Chargers are suffering with their offensive line. We've already covered that. Ripton's a chain last week. He had a good week this week.
He did.
He had a really good week this week. He looked like the majority of their offense. Darren Waller shows up
every week at the minute.
Once more. Don't understand it.
No.
Waddle had a horrible moment where he didn't catch a ball and ended up fumbling it into an interception quite early on. That was a real bad moment. But I would rather see the Chargers win than the Dolphins. So
yeah, they're the more exciting team. Dolphins are 1-5 as well. 29 to the Chargers, 27 to the Dolphins, and that is they're on. If Mike McDaniel,
he'll be gone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I said Mike McDonald last week, and that annoyed me. But if Mike McDaniel doesn't get fired this week, it's a miracle. If he doesn't get fired, he must be some cocaine drug dealing baron of Miami that's just untouchable, because he looks like he's on it 24/7. His brain looks like he's on it 24/7, and he's not a good coach. He's had his day.
I think you get a new head coach in there that says, "I want a new quarterback."
Yeah, why not? Because why wouldn't? Yeah, why wouldn't you? Tua is cooked in the head, like scrambled egg up there. We'll talk a little bit about Dave's team. The Tennessee Titans played the Raiders. This was, again, I feel bad saying it, but this was a poor affair for the Titans. It equally was not a good looking one for the Raiders either. This was a game that really was scrappy. There was so much pressure on Cam Ward again. He was harassed in this game so many times. Just pressures after sacks. Crosby all over him. Devin White all over him. He had fumbles come out. It's just not fair. Like the offensive line for the Titans puts him in precarious positions every single week, and it just doesn't give him chance to operate. I mean, he had a touchdown in this game and 1 interception in this game. He took 6 sacks, which is madness. Yeah, Calvin Ridley went down injured with hamstring, which means who are you throwing to at this point? They've got some young rookies, but nobody established. And Geno Smith on the opposite side, 170 yards, touchdown and an interception, and another stinky pick. He is a turnover machine. Both of these teams, I mean, the Raiders are 2-4, the Titans are 1-5. Both of these teams are not good teams.
No, they're really not. And I feel for Cam Ward. We've said it multiple times. Where you get drafted and where you land has such an impact on how people perceive you as a player.
Yeah.
And I generally think 4 years' time, he will not be there. He will end up as a backup somewhere. He'll get a second shot down the line. And people go, do you know what? He's actually not bad. This whole...
Stinks of the Giants.
I just don't... They are so bad. And yeah, they need, for me, the off-season, a rethink again. Dave's going to mention it. They need an offensive line that actually can protect a quarterback.
Yeah.
Give him some time, because right now it's only going one way.
Yeah.
You got a win last week, but we've covered that, and that was...
And last time we had Dave on the podcast, he was saying it was time for a coaching change in Tennessee, and it still hasn't happened. And I think, how could it not? How can you look at this team and be like, they're being coached really, really well, or they're being coached to the best of their winning capabilities? Because they're really not. You know, a lot of this offensive lining, a lot of this sort of play calling, giving Cam Ward chances to make completions, they're not scheming it up for him. They're just basically, I think this coordinator is trying to operate like he's got Joe Burrow. Like, yeah, you've got Joe Burrow. Stand in the pocket and sling that ball. But they don't have Joe Burrow. And I'm not saying Cam Ward can't be that guy, but they don't have Joe Burrow. They don't have Jamar Chase. They don't have T. Higgins. They don't have that yet. And so you've got to help your quarterback out, man. So yeah, poor from the Titans, poor from the Raiders, and Geno Smith. How the mighty do fall. Last couple
The
of games.
mighty.
Oh well, mighty from the Seahawks anyway. Since leaving the Seahawks, again Seahawks chat, but since leaving the Seahawks, I used to like Geno Smith. The whole, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. That kind of cool thing that he had going of being an underdog. He then went to the he went to the Raiders and was like, yeah, F you all, like Seattle. I didn't feel at home there. Raiders is my nation, baby. No, you sound like a tool, and I don't like you anymore.
Can we also? This ain't a good look for Pete Carroll.
It's not. Bringing in his mates and failing hard. Yeah, not good.
Well, this is not the comeback you wanted.
It's really not. Poor geriatric old boy. He'll get there. Last game. In fact, last two games. I'll finish with yours. So we'll start with the Bucs. Bucs Niners. This one was written as soon as it started. Mac Jones getting destroyed all over the place. Sacked 6 times. Didn't throw for a touchdown. Constantly under duress. Baker Mayfield cooking like a Michelin star chef. And that's all he does, is cook. Baker Mayfield throws dimes. In this game, even his third string receiver, who is now their number 1 receiver, went down injured. So Emeka Egbuka went down injured. Already lost Mike Evans, already lost Chris Godwin. Who cares? I'll throw the ball to Cameron Johnson for a touchdown. I'll throw the ball to Tez Johnson for a touchdown. I'll throw the ball to Sterling Shepard and Rashad White and just spread that thing out. And one of the best plays of the year so far, looked like he was taking a sack, yanked himself out of it, ran forward, found holes in the defense, ran forward for like a 24-yard gain on a 3rd and 21. Looked unbelievable. Baker Mayfield is the star of the league right now from every perspective. Just performance, grit. He's got that dog in him. He's good, man. He's real good.
Yeah, and listening to him after the game as well, he's talking well as well.
He is.
It sounds like he's matured, grown up, and he is leading that team. He is a leader in that locker room, but he's doing what very good quarterbacks do. He's making players around him better.
He is. And he's good to watch.
I'd say he's fun. So exciting to watch. And we haven't mentioned on the other side, the Niners do the Niners thing and get a worldly player out for the season. Fred Warner is down.
They've had some of the worst luck this year. And I said it in the group chat, maybe it's the souls that they've sold over the years to get into the NFC championships, to get into the Super Bowls, all coming to roost. And they talk about it. They do. I mean, injuries are what they are, whether they're impact or longevity. But the Niners have probably played 20 more games over the last 5 years than most other teams because they've always been in the playoffs, always been relevant. And that shit comes home, the aches, the pains, the wear and tear, it does wear on people. And so Mac Jones, they can't wait to get Purdy back, albeit, Mac Jones has been...
I was about to say, Mac Jones has not been bad.
No, he's not. But he's not their number 1 quarterback. It's the timing, it's the reps, it's everything. He's been good. But in this game, 340 yards, fair enough, but no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, plenty of sacks. He got destroyed. Christian McCaffrey can barely muster 60 yards on the ground week in, week out. It's just lucky that they feed him a lot and he gets a lot of touchdowns. But aside from that, Kendrick Bourne is about their only sparkling thing on offense. And he has back-to-back weeks. He's had over 100 and something yards. He's done really well with the connection with Mac Jones. But yeah, like you say, Fred Warner going out, Cam, is as big as it gets. He's the best player on their team. I think that was certainly with injuries now, but he's the best player on their team. He's one of the best middle linebackers in football, if not maybe in the last 10 years. And he's out for the season. He dislocated and broke his ankle, which is what Chris Godwin did last year. And Godwin was out for, until now, still. Yeah. So yeah, it's poor for the Niners, and I don't know what they need to do to overcome it. They've done really well so far, but they fall to 4-2. That NFC West, man, 4-2 Niners, 4-2 Rams, 4-2 Seahawks. That's it's gonna be a tough place to get into the playoffs if things carry on. Last game, the boys, go Pack, go Pack, go. Lambeau Field, the Packers welcome in the beat up Bengals. And they get the win, 27-18. Packers go to 3-1-1 because of that draw with the Cowboys. Bengals, newly signed Joe Flacco, does something for them, but ultimately I think it's a chess piece that has just replicated what they've previously had. As better throwing the ball he is, he's about as mobile as a lamppost, and that does not bode well when you're playing defenses like the Packers. So yeah, Cam, talk us to this one because this is your team. I thought it was a bit of a slow game for the Pack. I thought there was going to be more points. I thought there was going to be more domination. You look at the scoreboard; it's pretty dominant. But
yeah,
watching the game,
we could have shown up a lot more, but we did everything we needed to do in this game.
Yeah.
Jordan Love looked absolutely fine. He threw an interception early, which kept the Bengals hanging around. Otherwise, we were up by 10 points. And it sort of felt very similar to the Browns game earlier on in the season, led by Joe Flacco, where we were up 10-0 at the half, and they just managed to creep back in. They had a 17-play drive to start the second half that lasted about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
So that just sort of took all sort of atmosphere, momentum, time off the clock. They go down and score a touchdown. But yeah, I was maybe expecting a bit more dominance and sacks and pressure from the defense. But yeah, look, I'm just glad to have got the win. We hadn't won in a couple of games. We've just come off the bye week.
Yeah.
We needed a win. We were back at Lambeau. Matthew Golden had just over 100 yards total this game.
That's
Came
good
up with a big play back at the end to sort of put us in a position. Brandon McManus, our kicker, was out injured, so we had a new boy in there who made every kick asked of him.
Yeah.
Josh Jacobs does Josh Jacobs things and runs into the end zone.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns on the day.
Yeah. Like
they did well.
It wasn't a barnstormer. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it was a win, and this is exactly how we play football. We run through Josh Jacobs. We need to get our running game going more. It's not been where it has been last season.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just build on it. We're 3-1-1. We're top of the NFC North.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got no complaints or issues with this one. Lucas Van Ness has gone down injured, so that is a bit of a shitter.
I don't know. I get it, and a win is a win, and you're absolutely right in the fact that you're looking at all the positives and hoping that is just what happened. It's a win. You know, you didn't need to do any more than what you'd already done. For me, I'd be looking at that. It's a game off a bye week, so you've had extra time to prepare, more health. You're playing one of the, if not the worst defense in the NFL. I just expected more. 27 points is a lot of points, to be fair. So I don't know what I'm really talking about, but I watched that game very intently because I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game, and I guess it was, but it just didn't feel like it. And I would be concerned, a little bit more concerned, that the Bengals kind of held. I mean, you scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Up until that point, it was 10-7.
We barely did get the ball in the third. They took up 12 minutes on one drive.
Yeah, I get that. And that's maybe where it comes from. I think maybe it's just the tail of the game was that you didn't really have too much. Jordan Love looked very okay, and he threw one stinky pick, and that happens, and he doesn't do that often. So I'm probably being a bit of a harsh critic. I just thought, in my head, I was like, that's a 50 burger on the Bengals. And I think the Packers, as much as this is a great win, I think it would have been a much bigger statement.
This is just a win and on to the next one.
Yeah.
This is, it's all it needed to be.
Yeah. No, fair play, Cam. You're right. No harsh critics necessary. Tell you what, playing at Lambeau, the Packers are...
It's different.
Yeah, they're so good at Lambeau. On the flip side, just to finish the podcast and to finish the Seahawks chat, 10-1 on the road. We've won 9 straight under Mike McDonald.
Yeah, it's impressive.
On the road. We're crap at home, but on the road, whew, that's mental. I don't know what that is all about, but if we could replicate that at home, that'd be nice. And that's it. Recap. Over. It's in the books. Week 6. A game of inches. 1 slip, 1 bad read, 1 mistake, 1 interception. That's the difference between a win and a loss at this point in the NFL. So, huge thanks to Camo for being back in the studio. We are jet lagged, very tired, very ready for bed, but it's time for another week of football, and that starts very soon in just a couple of days. Make sure to follow us at In the End Zone UK. Send us your comments, slaps, signs. Let us know what you thought about any of the games that we spoke about on this podcast. But until next time, football is life. We'll see you in week 7. Peace out, Camo.
Peace out.
Catch me balling like I'm in the end zone. I got my homies in the no new friend zone. You know, making plays that land us in the end zone. Coming in clutch, you can catch me in the end zone. End zone.